Yo! Okay, it's day 3, practically in a row of, talent changes. And we've got mine today, which we should then be able to theory craft and be able to figure out what's gonna sort of be meta builds. It so far looks like we're gonna have a little bit more of a variety of playable, competitive actually builds instead of just like 1 or 2 per class. So here we go with mine. So in case you missed the previous 2 videos or you're watching these out of order, which is totally fine, there are now 4-point talents. So we've got 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s, and we've got up to 7 points to spend on those talents. So the past 2 days, between body and spirit, we have gotten the 1-point costs are shield, extra shield, and extra mana charge. This one is extra rune cooldown. So it starts with 5, 10, 15, and 25%. Honestly, this is a pretty sick 1-cost talent. I'll probably use this instead of runic. To try to fill out the other builds if runic is there. I guess we'll find out in a minute. First 2-point talent in the mines is Spellslinger, which we've had for a while, but this is updated. So it still stores extra gauntlets and rune in your inventory. However, the sorcery cooldown is now a little bit better. You got 10%, 12%, 15%, 20% instead of 5, 8, 10, 15. And now it goes from a cost 1 to a cost 2, which really isn't a nerf in itself because we do have that 7 points instead of 6 points to spend. So the next one is actually pretty interesting. It's called Curious. It's a new talent. Chance to find an extra scroll of a plus 12, plus 25, plus 35, and plus 50% of the time. Scroll reading speed is also plus 100%. And this does mean that you could potentially find 2 scrolls in a chest, and it doesn't take a spot of a different item. It's just an additional item that comes in it. So if you open one that has normally would have a scroll and like an amulet or something, you'll get potentially an amulet and 2 scrolls, which is pretty interesting, especially you can snowball this with other talents that we've seen so far. And it could also come from players that you've exiled or other, like if they ever add something in there, but players that have scrolls could potentially also drop an extra scroll for you too. First 3-point mine talent is tracking, which we've had before. However, it is substantially, it is much longer on the back end. The first one's gonna be the same, but this is gonna be 5, 7, 10 seconds, which is almost double the time that we used to be able to see enemies afterwards. And it went from from a 2 to a 3, which again is not really a nerf because we do have 7 points to spend. It is a little bit of a nerf, but not really, but it's justified by those points. This is a very interesting take on sort of like a harmony difference. And first of all, the name is fantastic. If you don't get it, I do apologize for you, but you're immune to ignition and corrosion, flat out immune to it. However, with freeze and shock duration on you, it is 30%, 35% shorter, 50% shorter, 75%, and then 90% shorter. So you're almost, if you level this up, completely immune to freeze and shock as well. But this is great. To corrosion is I love this part of it, that is added instead of just being immune to the slow, right? So this is gonna be a hard talent. So first mine talent, it used to be called Vital Stone, and back in the day, it used to be in the Pyro class, and it was called Phoenix Rebirth, and now they're bringing that name back with Rebirth. And on disruption once, resurrection of 20, resurrect with 20, 30, 40, 50%, or 50% of your health. It went up from 10, 25, 35, and 50. It was still 50 at the end, but it's a little bit better at the beginning because it was pretty much useless up until you got that all the way leveled up. It is immune for 4 seconds after resurrection, and your run speed is plus 25% while immune. So it's 25% of whatever you have. So I have a feeling that this is going to be a potentially really fun talent in whatever new mode they have, if it's an objective team-based mode, especially if you have players that are going to be able to focus whoever just rebirthed you. Phoenix Vitaled you? Popped you? But anyways, it's cost from 3 to 4, and like I said, those bump ups aren't really nerfs because of the talents. And I know I've said that a lot, but I just want to keep iterating them. And for those of you who don't know, a little tip about Rebirth is if you get your Vital popped or your Rebirth popped, and you read another scroll, up to the level, of course, up to the top level, you'll get that Rebirth back every single time. So you technically could live 4 different times in a life. So keep that in mind when you have Vital or Rebirth. So the only talent that has not been changed at all is Runic Fluency, and the only reason it wasn't changed is it went from a cost of 2 to a cost of 4, which is a nerf, because it was a 2 instead of a 3 going up to 4. So keep that in mind, which, by the way, if you don't notice, that means Fervor is gone. Fervor's gone. So off the bat, we've got, so the ones that I think we've got completely gone are Focus Mana, Harmony, Escapist, Recklessness, Recovery, Fervor, Scav, and Finders Keepers, which some of those have been reworked / changed and kind of split in half and moved around to other things. But Fervor looks like it's completely gone, which I'm interested to see what they do with that, because I have a feeling they might add that somewhere else. And we've said for a while that it should be just a base thing. The lowest level should just be a base. So we'll see how that goes. But we have Runic in a very interesting 4 spot. So we'll see how that goes. And it's in the same spot as that Runic charge bonus, the first one. So the first point talent. And they said next week, it says right there, you'll start hearing about the new game mode. So we'll be able to truly, like, we're gonna be able to do some theory crafting about these new talents right now. But next week, we'll be able to do like actual theory crafting per mode, or whatever mode we have. The BR, Clash, all of these other things. We're gonna actually truly break everything down, put it all together. Next week, we'll have a video for you guys about my theory crafting right now, for like how this stuff kind of would fit into a BR mode. And maybe I might talk about a little bit how it'll fit into an objective-based mode, or an arena-type-based mode, whatever we might get. And maybe even Clash, but Clash is a little bit different, I think, than others. But we'll still talk about them. So I hope you're excited, because the amount of talents that have changed is fantastic. And whether you like the other changes that are to come, or whether you like anything else, at least the meta won't feel the same. At least it won't feel like we've been feeling since the end of beta, really. So tell me what you think down below. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, mainly for Dan, okay? Leave a comment also. I would like to talk to you guys. So guys, love you. I'm excited to see what comes next. So see you next time. Peace.
Yo, I'm hungry, where them Cheetos at? They stay biting like where them mosquitoes at. I'm on point like an elbow, hands red like Elmo. My mama said, have you had enough? I looked and I said, no ma'am. I go ham in the grocery store, or Spanish and Takis, riding with my